Right now, one of the most underestimated yet potentially largest shifts in recent years is happening in the world of technology. While public attention is focused on neural networks, generative AI, and new smartphones, Tesla continues to develop a project that could change not only the tech industry, but the very structure of everyday human life. We are talking about the humanoid robot Tesla Optimus. Not long ago, it was seen as a demonstration of capabilities and a long-term bet on the future. But over the past year, the situation has begun to change rapidly. During this time, Tesla has showcased several updates of Optimus, and if you closely look at the development dynamics, it becomes clear that the company is moving much faster than all previous players in the robotics market. The robot has become faster, gained more precise motor control, improved hands with a high degree of freedom, smoother walking, and much more confident balance. But the main thing is not the hardware. The biggest progress is happening in the software. Tesla is actively transferring its developments from autopilot and neural networks into Optimus, effectively turning it into a system capable of learning from real-world data. This means the robot can not only execute pre-programmed actions, but also adapt to its environment and tasks. However, against the backdrop of this technological leap, there is one very strange and at first glance illogical point. The appearance of Optimus is hardly changing. It still looks like a classic robot with a minimalist body, without attempting to imitate a human. And this raises questions, because if the company is truly moving toward a mass-market product, appearance starts to play a key role. And this is where the most interesting part begins. According to insiders, Tesla is now actively discussing the next stage of Optimus development. And this stage is not about performance, not about AI, and not even about autonomy. It is about the external perception of the robot. Sources claim that Elon Musk has set the goal of making Optimus more human-like. And these are not just cosmetic changes. This could be a complete rethinking of its design concept. One of the key ideas currently under discussion is the development of a special robotic skin. According to preliminary data, Tesla is considering creating a covering that can imitate human skin. It sounds like science fiction, but in reality, such technologies already exist in laboratory conditions. However, the problem is that no one has yet been able to scale this solution to the level of a mass product, especially for a full-size humanoid robot. And here Tesla is facing one of the most difficult challenges in modern engineering, because creating skin is not just about making a soft covering. This system must be flexible, durable, resistant to damage, not interfere with joint movement, withstand constant loads, not overheat, and at the same time maintain an appearance as close as possible to human. And that is only the technical side. There is also a psychological factor, the so-called uncanny valley. This is an effect where an object looks almost like a human, but not completely, and it is precisely this almost that creates a feeling of discomfort. People begin to perceive such a robot as something unnatural and even unsettling. That is why Tesla's task becomes twice as difficult. It is not enough to simply make the robot look like a human. It must be made in a way that inspires trust. And according to sources, this is now one of the main goals within the Optimus project, because Tesla's long-term vision goes far beyond factories. Yes, right now the robot is being tested in a production environment. It is learning to carry objects, work with parts, and perform routine tasks. But in the future, the company wants to take it beyond factories, into homes, into services, into everyday life. And here, appearance becomes critically important, because people are much more likely to accept a technology that looks familiar. That is exactly why smartphones, cars, and even voice assistants have so quickly become part of everyday life. They do not look alien, and Tesla wants to achieve the same effect with robots. It is also interesting that Elon Musk has repeatedly said that Tesla Optimus could become the company's most mass-produced product in the future, potentially even more widespread than its cars. And if that is indeed the case, then the question of appearance becomes not just aesthetic but strategic. At the same time, it is important to understand that Tesla is following its own path. Unlike companies that already create hyper-realistic androids for exhibitions and demonstrations, Tesla is not trying to immediately build the perfect human. The company is moving step by step, first functionality, then adaptation, and only after that appearance. And right now, according to insider information, the transition to this next stage is beginning. The stage where the robot must become not only useful, but also visually acceptable to people. In addition, the development of robotic skin opens up a whole range of new possibilities. For example, the integration of sensors. Such skin could not only look like human skin, but also provide sensitivity functions. The robot would be able to feel pressure, temperature, and contact, which fundamentally changes the level of interaction with the environment. But along with this come new risks, because the more human-like a robot becomes, the higher people's expectations. And if its behavior or movements do not match its appearance, it can create the opposite effect. That is why Tesla appears to be acting very cautiously. The company is not rushing to publicly showcase these developments, but the number of signals and leaks is gradually increasing. According to some reports, prototypes with partial skin coverage are already being tested internally. These are not final products, they are early experiments, but their very existence suggests that the direction has been chosen. And if all of this is confirmed, the next update of Optimus could become one of the most talked about events in the industry, because it would not just be an upgrade, but a shift in how robots are perceived altogether. And perhaps this step will be the moment when robots stop being seen as machines and begin to be perceived as part of the human environment. Looking at it more broadly, it becomes clear that we are at the beginning of a new technological era, one in which the boundary between human and machine gradually begins to blur. The question is no longer whether such robots will appear, but how quickly it will happen. And judging by the pace demonstrated by Tesla, the wait may not be very long. There is also another point that is hardly discussed right now, but it could turn out to be key in this entire story. If Tesla truly brings robotic skin to a working state, it will automatically open the door to entirely new use case scenarios for Tesla Optimus. It may no longer be just about an assistant, but about full interaction with humans at the level of familiar social models. The robot could exist alongside people, perform tasks, assist in everyday life, and at the same time not be perceived as a factory machine, but as something more natural. And this is where the most interesting part begins, because it is no longer just technology, it is a shift in perception. People begin to relate differently to devices that look and behave more human-like. And if Tesla successfully executes this transition, Optimus could become not just a device, but a new type of product that creates an entire market around itself. And perhaps this stage is already taking shape within the company, while for most people it still remains behind the scenes.